Hi. So today's video is about, it's more about the creative visualization business that we started talking about a few weeks ago. And I made this video where I was reminding all of us about our imagination and the power of our imagination to help us stay focused on our goals and to keep our spirit and our whole being inspired and excited and full of energy and enjoying what we're doing. So I was asked that if the vision is not so clear, how to proceed from that place. And I thought that was an amazing question because basically, sometimes we sit down to visualize, and even if it's a guided visualization, we're being told, and imagine, you are fully successful, you are totally abundant, and the vision is not so clear. So I wanted to make a video about the steps of how to get our goal so centered in our whole being that then it will be very tricky to fall off the bandwagon, fall off the sort of motivated, inspired, because as long as we can keep coming back to that place where we know exactly where we're going, so no matter what is going on around us, no matter what is working or not working, we're still heading step by step in the direction that we ourselves, it's our inner goal, it's our inner goal that we're now bringing into reality. So 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 this video basically is, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to narrow it, on how to get it focused so that you can stay with it and manifest it basically. So the way it goes is that at the beginning, when we have an idea, it can be a bit vague. And also, like visionaries, big creatives, we tend to have ideas that are very big. But then it's a whole process to get from where we are to what we actually want to create. And we have to always remember that what we have now is exactly where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to build from this point onwards. So focusing on what we can't do and what what if we had the funding for this, we would do that, and if is actually sort of negative waste of energy. We really want to stay focused on what we can do with what we have. And I remember a quote, I think it was a Roosevelt quote, which was, do what you can where you are with what you have. And it really is that you master this, and then it's as if life says, okay, now you need this for that, and suddenly that shows up in the form that it needs to show up, so that you can do the next bit that you need to do along the progress. So there is no hurry to do it, because remember, it's not there's no escalator to the top. We really have to take the stairs, and the more we're doing it ourselves, the more it's concrete, the more the result is coming from that whole place of inspiration and so on, and the more it's real, like we're really creating what we want to create, so that we're aware and we know what we want and what we want next and what we want next. So the way I would start is, I would start just go online, go to Google, Google search, and basically start uh, searching for whatever you want, whatever your vision. I mean, think of your life 5 years down the line, and think of all the things you would have liked to manifest it in this way. So you're waking up 5 years down, and you're thinking, this is my life, this is where I'm at, and really dream big. Allow yourself to dream as big as you like, and but everything, not just work related, but everything, the kind of house you want to be living in, the kind of relationship you want, pretty much like everything that you want in the next your 5 year plan. It's your personal vision for your life. um, Whatever you'd like to create in your career spectrum, whatever you want. It's carte blanche. 5 years down the line, this is what you're meeting with your best friend, and you're saying, "Wow, what an amazing 5 years! This is what I've created." And so just go on Google and start collecting photos, quotes, words, because don't just think about the material things you want to manifest at the end of those 5 years. Think of also the feeling you want to have had along the way. Did you have fun? Were you inspired? Were you feeling energized? Were you feeling excited about life, about the process? So basically, just dream it up as big as you like, and start collecting your photos. Basically, I would create a folder, call it Vision, and just put the photos in there. Your dream country home, your literally look for it. Look for the area you want, look for the kind of plants you want in your gardens, look for the kind of vegetables you want to have in your, look at the pets you'd like to have once you have, the garden space or whatever. Just dream it up. I want a samoyed when I get to my country home. So, okay, so basically, once you've collected a whole bunch of pictures, they're in your vision thing. You can look, you can be working on something on the computer, and before you go to sleep at night, just check the view from your bedroom or from your meditation space. Or I have this lovely view on mine of where I want to be sort of meditating, what I want to see when I sit and meditate. So that's a big one for me because I love my meditation moments. Okay, so you've created it, you've got the pictures, you've got your vision folder. Now we want to have the pictures in a way where we get to see them and remember them and refresh our memory when we're not feeling so inspired and so motivated to remind ourselves why we're doing this, what we're creating, what we're building, and to just kind of take us back into that place of it's all happening in perfect timing, and this is where I'm going, and no, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm heading there, and you're kind of claiming it. You're claiming your creation, which is how creation happens. You dream it up. And then you claim it. You just, if you're an architect or you start imagining what you're creating, you put it on paper and you make it happen. And then this is it. This is basically, creation is the same. Whether we're an artist, whether we are Steve Jobs, we dream it up, we make it happen. Because the amazing thing is that the brain, so the neuroscience behind all of that, is that the subconscious brain cannot distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. I mean, how powerful is that? So with enough repetition and enough seeing the images, what happens is the brain goes to work to create, to notice what you need to create this that it's been seeing, because that becomes its reality. And that's why there's so much power to doing this. So it's not a matter of I'm cutting pictures and I'm hanging them up. It has power because you want the repetition and you want to see them visually, so that you are reminding your brain on a daily basis. You're passing by it to go wash your hands. You're passing by it to walk out the door. You're passing by, and as you see it, and as you keep this image of what you're wanting to create, the mechanics of how it needs to happen and who you need to meet along the way to make it happen and what you need along the way to make it happen begins to manifest. And when you're focused on that, then your whole being is on the mission to help you get there. And the brain is basically feeding the stuff that you're noticing and the stuff that you're focusing on. And that's how intuitive ideas come, that you get to take action on. They're coming from that place, which is your guidance, your inner guidance, trying to get you to where you're heading, where you're wanting to head. So it's very, very, very powerful. And it's really it's really fun to do. So cutting up images and finding the images of what you want is really fun because it keeps you on that lovely energy space. And then getting very clear on the vision, and it will change and it will get modified. It's your kind of I desire list. I mean, writing it down is great. Writing down sort of where you are in 5 years. I am, waking up with this beautiful view, or however way you want to imagine what happens in 5 years, and so as you write it down, you get the visuals. We're basically trying to get all the pieces in it, so when you're imagining it, it becomes much clearer to visualize because you've actually seen the images. You have a very clear idea of what it is you're trying to manifest. So I'm going to show you one of my vision boards. I have a bunch, but this is one of them that this one I've just kind of chosen some quotes that I love and some things that I find quite inspiring. So basically, I have this Thomas Edison quote, which I love, which really inspires me a lot. It's if we did, if we did all the things we are capable of, we would literally astound ourselves. And I think that's a great one because I have to remind myself of that. Sometimes when I'm like, oh my God, I have to make that call. Oh my God, I have to write that email. Then I'm like, come on, Rania, you can do this. So this quote really inspires me when I see it. And I have a #1 New York Times bestseller, which I'm planning on executing. My first book is out. I don't know what it's going to take for my first book to be a New York Times bestseller. But it was, I had so much I wanted to share, and I was getting asked so many questions by parents and stuff that I thought, let me just get this information out because I would like to have that information if I had a little kid in school and I thought it's kind of the school of life. So I felt like writing it and it came from my heart. It wasn't marketed properly and I didn't do what I needed to have done. But it's okay. I continue to talk about it and it will continue to land in people's hands and probably it'll be one of those books like it happens to me when I find an author that I really like. And usually I'm reading their bestseller book because I've heard about it. And then I start to read all their other books. And I always go back to the beginning because I kind of want to see where they started at. So who knows, my Tap into Miracles might become a New York Times bestseller eventually. But there'll be other books. And so anyway, I'm planning on that. This is one of my things, my vision board things. Then I have the Tatler Schools because that's the guide that shows all the schools. And I'd like to sort of be a part of what's happening in the education world. So that's on there because I feel very, very passionately about this, that I think we should be learning. We should be learning mind power at school. We shouldn't be waiting to become an adult and have to learn how powerful our brains are for helping us manifest what we want. I feel like this is what would allow every child from every spectrum of the social mobility to be able to accomplish things because that's a lot more powerful. I mean, some of the most inspiring people dropped out of school and did their own education. So in fact, it's not really about getting the grades and going to, Cambridge. It's about knowing that we have the mind power to create our life the way we want it. So I feel very passionately that I want to get involved. So I'd like to be featured in that at some point. Then I have my Richard Branson, who I love. I find him so inspiring. And his quote says, business has to be involving, it has to be fun, and it has to exercise your creative instincts, which is totally what I believe. I believe business has to be fun, it has to be involving, and it has to bring out our creative side because that's what makes it fun and that's what makes it enjoyable. And then I've chosen words that are inspiring to me. I put online programs, which is something I want to do, like, basically present a lot of what I'm sharing properly in a way that I know I would if I had been like in my banking days, if I had come across some of this information, I would have loved to just have access to it and sit at home when I have a chance and kind of like go through some of this stuff. So I'm creating what I would have liked to know in the corporate world. And as it turns out that a lot of the people that I tend to share my messages with are the more left brain community, the lawyers and the accountants and the doctors and the bankers, obviously. And I think that it's a very important message to know because like I said, we're not getting taught this at school. And, unless you have the time to be sitting and exploring and reading a million books and trying it out and seeing what works and then studying the neuroscience behind it and why it's working and all of that. So I've kind of done the shortcut for all these people by giving them the information the way I would have liked to receive it. And since that was my business and I was in a very left brain world, educationally and in every way, it's quite easy for me to share these messages. So this is all going online eventually. And then I've chosen words that I like inspire. It's not very visible, but inspire. That's a word that's been very big in my world. I think if we can be inspired, we can inspire others. And like I like I talk about, inspiration and motivation and all of that have to be like, we have to look for them. We have to read things that are inspiring. We have to surround ourselves by information that's inspiring. You know, if we're sitting there watching the news 24/7, we're not going to be very inspired. You know, we have to actually find the information that can support our growth and our learning and our development as human beings, because this is what we're here to do. We're here to evolve and to be the best us, and we can learn. Luckily for us, you know, successful people are happy to share how they did it. And luckily for us, their information is so available. So there's no reason, there's no excuse whatsoever to not like access it and do something about it. So anyway, I would say create vision boards and have them places where you can see. And if you can't, it's really like uncomfortable for you to have a vision board where you are, then another idea would be to just create a notebook. Where you had your own little notebook, you can carry it around, take it with you to work during your lunch break, check it out, and just write down all the things, or I mean, put all the pictures and write the words if you like, right? You just, you know, create an album for yourself, but in a notebook form, so it's easy to take around and easy to transport and easy to look at. And just look at that as often as you can. First thing in the morning as you're getting up, just have a little review. Last thing at night, just review your vision. And when you find new pictures, you can add them in. But I would say try to keep the visuals of your, you know, what you want, quite live, because I think there's a lot of, I know neuroscience tells us there is a lot of power to that. And so I encourage you to do this. It's really fun to do. And start gently, you know, just whenever you have a magazine in front of you, flip through. If you find pictures that are inspiring, cut them out. If you're online and you just, you know, just before going to sleep, just check a few things. Or you shouldn't be on your computer before you go to sleep, but I've just gotten into this really terrible habit. But the idea is to be 45 minutes before we go to sleep. We have to be offline. I've written a blog on this if you want to know more about the science behind it. But okay, whenever you have a free moment and you're online, why not pick out a few photos of things that are inspiring to you, and things you'd like to manifest, and let's manifest it. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope this takes us further down the whole creative visualization. We're going to find every technique that gets us there, and this is definitely a very powerful one, so I highly encourage it. Well, I wish you a fun rest of your day, and I look forward to the next message, to the next video.